Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial. So today I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this beautiful Bubu dress. So if it's something you're interested in, please keep on watching and let's get started. So to make this design, I'll advise to use a silk or satin material. And right now, as you can see, my fabric is on fold and we're going to be drafting the back pattern first. And the first thing I did was to take about 1 inch at the top of my material. So now I'm going to be taking my neck width and I'll be using 3 inches for that. So from that 3 inches, I'm going to take in the sleeve length. So depending how long you want the sleeve to be, you know this is a Bubu dress. So for me, I'm going to be using about 15 inches, as you can see. So from that 15 inches, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and use my ruler to connect that 1 inch I came down by to my 3 inches for my neck width. So you just see how I'm doing it. So if you want your sleeve to be longer than this, all you need to do is just to extend the length of the sleeve. So the next thing I'll be doing is to take my neck depth, and since this is the back, I'll be using 1.5 inches. So I'll just go ahead and connect. Then I'll go ahead and make a curve as well. So right now, I'm going to be measuring how wide I want my armhole to be. So I'll be using 11 inches for that. So now I'll be marking my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. So I'm just going to mark it all the way like so. Then I'll go ahead and use my ruler to connect. So on that bust point, I'll be dividing my bust circumference by 4 and it will give me 9 inches. So I'm going to be adding 5 inches extra to that 9 inches since this is a Bubu gown. So I'll just extend this line a little. So from that extra 5 inches that I marked, I'm going to come down by about 2 inches. So what I'll do right now is that I'll use my ruler to connect to that 11 inches that I marked for my armhole. And I will slightly make a curve from there to meet that 2 inches I came down by. I hope you guys understand. So this will just serve as my armhole curve. So from that armhole curve that I marked, I'm just going to draw a straight line all the way down to the length of this dress. I'm just going to draw it all the way down. So right now I'll be adding half an inch for allowance on my shoulder slope, as you can see, and I'll just go ahead and use my ruler to make a connection. So at the armhole, I'm going to be adding about 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance, so when I'm folding it in, it doesn't come out short. So I'll just use my ruler to connect. And now we are done drafting the back of this dress, and I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So now I'll be drafting the front pattern, and my fabric is on fold as well. And for the center front of this pattern is going to be having a stitch in the middle. So the first thing I'll be doing is that I'm going to mark 2 inches at the center front like so. So I'm going to mark that 2 inches all the way down. So now I'll go ahead and use my ruler to connect. So right now I'll place my back pattern on top of the front like so. The center back will be at that 2 inches that I marked for the center front. Just watch what I'm doing. So I'm just going to make sure I arrange it properly. So after arranging it, I'll go ahead and pin it down so it doesn't shift when I'm cutting it out. So right now I'm going to cut it out, and as you can see, I did not touch the neck at all. I'll be cutting the neck after I'm done cutting out. So now for the neck of the front, I'm just going to go ahead and make a notch here first. Then I'll go ahead and remove the pins. So right now, before I draft the neck of the front pattern, I'll go ahead and fold that 2 inches that I marked, and I'll use my pin to hold it down like so. So right now, I'm going to come down by 3 inches for my neck depth. And right now, I'll go ahead and make a curve from that place that I notched to the 3 inches I came down for my neck depth. So this will be my neck. And right now, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So since we're going to be stitching this center front, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up like so. So now I'll go ahead and place my tape at the neck like so, and I'll come down by about 4 inches. So right now I'm going to be coming down by about half an inch from my shoulder. Then I'll take my tape all the way down to where I want my slits to start from. So I'm using about 33 inches. So if you feel that is lower, you can carry it a little bit higher. You can bring your tape higher than that. So I'll be sewing from that 4 inches I came down by all the way to the 3 inches I marked. So after making my stitch, this is what it looks like. So I'll be using the hemming gum for the stitch I made in the middle. So just watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to open it up like so. Then I'll open up the stitch as well. So the first thing I'll do is that I'm going to iron that middle part down like so. I'm just going to iron it down properly. So after ironing, what I'll do right now is that I'll place the hemming gum here like so, and I'll fold about 1/4 of an inch and fold it on top of the hemming gum like so. So I'll just go ahead and iron it. I'll advise you use your pin to hold it down because it might be a little bit difficult when you're ironing. So I'm going to continue this all the way to the end of this dress. As you can see, I start using my pin to hold it down so it will be faster. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin it down all the way to the slit, then I'll iron it. So this is the end result. As you can see, this is the back, and if I flip it over to the other side, this is what the front will look like. So remember that this Bubu dress is fitted because there's a belt on the inside. So what I'll be doing right now is that I'll come down by half an inch from my shoulder slope. Then I'll take my shoulder to my waistline, which is 16 inches. Just watch what I'm doing. So I'll take it on both sides like so. So on that waistline, I'll be dividing my waist circumference by 4, and whatever it gives me, I'm going to start from this midpoint. My waist circumference divided by 4 is about 7.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that 7.5 inches on both sides. So I already cut out the belt for this dress, and as you can see, it's about 4 inches wide, as you can see, and the length is up to you. If you want it very long, you can make it long, but for me, I'm using about 45 inches. So I'll be cutting 2 of it, and right now I'm going to fold it into 2 and run a stitch of about half an inch. So this is the belt, as you can see, and I also went ahead to iron it. So what I'll do right now is that I'm going to fold it like so. I'm just going to use about 1 inch to fold, and I'll place it on this part that I marked. I'll use my pin to hold it down. So I'll pin the other side as well, and after pinning, I'll take it to my sewing machine and run a stitch on both of them. So when you're stitching, make sure you double stitch so that it doesn't rip off when you're tying it. So right now I'm done stitching, and you can see what it looks like, and please remember that the belt is on the inside. So now I'll be cutting a facing for the back of this dress. You can go ahead and use a bias if you want to, but for me I'll be using a facing. So I'm going to fold a small piece of material into 2, and I'll fold the back as well, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it on top. But before doing that, I'll just pin it down first so it doesn't shift. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. So after cutting, I'll just go ahead and use it to turn the back inwards, and this is what it looks like after turning it. So you can see how neat it looks. So I went ahead to do the same thing for the front as well. So now I'll place the shoulder of the front and back together and use about half an inch to stitch, and this is what it looks like after stitching. So now before I sew the back and front piece together, I'll go ahead and use about 1.5 inches that I left for the allowance to sew the sleeve. So you can see what I'm doing. I'll just go ahead and run a stitch on it. So right now I'll just go ahead and fold this part into two. So I'm going to use my pin to hold it all the way down like so. I'll do the same thing at the other side as well. So once I'm done pinning it down, I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it with about 1 inch or about half of an inch all the way. I'll do the same thing at the other side. So I'm done sewing, and this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to hem the lower part, and I also went ahead to iron it. And we've come to the end of today's video. Please, if you enjoyed the video and you've not subscribed to my channel, please don't forget to do so. You can also turn on your notification bell to receive videos from me every time I post. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.